It is very interesting but senseless that Nigeria now has 91 political parties. We now have 74 so-called presidential candidates. I intentionally use the word so-called because of those candidates that just want to be known in the future as former presidential candidates. With the presidential elections to be held on February 16, 2019, it is even more interesting that only 6 of the presidential candidates are currently campaigning. Does it mean that the other 68 just came to divert our attentions and waste our time? Foremost among the 6 candidates that are campaigning now is Sowore of the African Action Congress, AAC. He has strength, stamina, and vision. Though he is gathering momentum, his supporters are still screaming that they wish to see his posters in all towns and villages in Nigeria. They also wish that his running mate is equally campaigning vigorously in the north. But are the youths prepared to support the youths? Or are they just being lazy, as quoted by Muhammadu Buhari? The second person that is campaigning and making comments on national issues now is Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party. Unlike Sowore's new party, Atiku has much money to spend. This could be informed by what Olusegun Obasanjo wrote about Atiku. According to Obasanjo, he recorded that Atiku stole more than what can feed 300 million Nigerians for 400 years. Another presidential candidate that is campaigning is Muhammadu Buhari, supported by his other government officials who are desperate to retain their political appointments. When Buhari opened his mouth to speak at their campaign flag of Atuyo, he lacked the eloquence to address and convince the 200 million Nigerians who are in dire need of good governance in the country, beclouded by abject poverty and insecurity. You may begin to wonder where the money came from with the way APC is spending money now. Because a member of the House of Representatives, Umar Bago, from Niger State, donated 110 vehicles to support Buhari's campaign. Even Nuhu Ribadu, the former EFCC boss, and his team donated 40 vehicles for Buhari's campaign. Many more people are donating here and there, cash and cars. We hope that there will equally be a probe on the campaign expenses of APC and PDP by EFCC, as it was done after the 2015 elections. Where these monies are coming from in these times of poverty, in a country that is the poverty capital of the world, is not something that we can explain. Newcomers like the respected Kingsley Moghalu and Obiageli Ezekwesili of the Young Progressive Party, YPP and Allied Congress Party of Nigeria, ACPN respectively, including Fela Durotoye of AAN, Alliance for Nigeria. They are also campaigning. We advised in a previous video that the youths of our new generation Nigerian politicians cannot win the presidency in Nigeria in 2019 unless they step down for one person and pull their resources together. Now that the events of the campaign are unfolding, it is clear that ego and pride has not allowed some of them to work together. Even the 68 that do not have the capacity to campaign have refused to step down. They seem to have this mentality that if it is not me, I will not support any other candidate. When people are contesting elections of this magnitude, Nigerian praise singers begin to address you as Your Excellency, even before the election. This is what is getting into the heads of the 68 persons now. They are already feeling, they are already under the illusion that they are in Aso Rock. The worst thing is that since they refuse to align with other young, promising candidates, they are dangerously ruining their future political careers without knowing it. Posterity will not forgive them, because whenever their names are mentioned, they will be judged as those that truncated the hope of a new Nigeria. Many of the 68 did not even go as far as having running mates or campaign offices. Some of them are suspected to have been sponsored by professional politicians as spoilers to scatter the votes of young candidates. Their sponsors, the professional politicians, they have no business other than stealing public money. Politics is their stock in trade. If you see any of the 68 jumping to a line with APC or PDP close to the election, you must quickly understand that they are the spoilers we are talking about. Just watch. They will surrender their conscience to their self-seeking sponsors. They will surely betray the youths, because that is what they are set out to do. Even the youths are not helping themselves. They are very confused, running after money. They will begin to regret afresh if they refuse to cooperate or support one of the young generation candidates now. By the time you start to complain, if you choose the wrong candidate after the presidential election, by the time you start to regret, the world will be mocking you. We, at the European Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, have a message for 4 of you: Sowore, Moghalu, Ezekwesili, and Durotoye. You all know that we are supporting Sowore because he won our online election held on the 1st of November 2018. There are 128,000 polling stations across Nigeria in the presidential elections. We wish to respectfully ask that if you know in your heart of hearts that you do not have the capacity to have 2 party agents in the 128,000 polling booths, that is 256,000 party agents, we ask that you step down and work with the candidates from amongst you that can afford it, especially a candidate that has covered more geographical space in terms of campaigning. If you do not have agents in all these polling stations, be rest assured that those are the places that the massive rigging will take place. Please consider this advice deeply instead of wasting your time and resources, because the time is short. We ask you to consider this with all sense of humility. We are saying, please. 3 of you may need to meet together and to discuss this for the sake of national interest, for the sake of posterity and the prosperity of our country, for the sake of the Nigerian youth. We cannot afford another 4 years in the hands of APC and PDP. We cannot afford that mistake. Nigeria has lost everything since PDP and APC took over the leadership of our country since 1999. If Nigeria is your private company, will you agree to renew the contract of your unproductive workers for another 4 years of loss after the disappointment and colossal loss of 20 years? After ruining your company and forcing you to borrow all over the world? We are not hiding the fact that APC and PDP have failed Nigeria and they cannot take us anywhere today, tomorrow, or any day. We must not deceive ourselves. Both parties are the same, and they have an indwelling ideology of failure and plutocracy. The time is running out for the 68 to do the needful or go down in history as selfish and unpatriotic Nigerians. The clock is ticking. Democracy in Nigeria is about to be molested and tortured again in our very before. Great countries of today were built from the visions of their great leaders who put love for country above love for fame and stomach infrastructure. Men and women who selflessly sacrificed their mental and psychological will by surrendering to country so that generations after them will live happier than they did. It is the power of such visions which men like Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan mustered many years after Nigeria's independence that began a journey that turned the United Arab Emirates from a desert into a destination and signature of all eyes. They gave their all and developed into a global hub for tourism, retail, and finance, home to the world's tallest building and largest man-made seaport. They built structures on the power of their visions and attracted the stolen wealth from politicians, business persons, tourists, and those that sought good earth from countries like Nigeria. Nigerians who are too weak to make their country great. Today, the UAE suck and continue to suck the resources of countries like Nigeria. Nigeria, whose leaders lack the vision and the nitty-gritty of governance to make their people happy. Today, Nigeria, our country, boasts of villains, not heroes. We boast of men and women who sacrifice the blood of their compatriots to get power that fades away shortly. While the heroes who made their countries great continue to rest in perpetual peace, celebrated many years after they have gone. Never shall we see the Nigeria of our dream within our lifespan or the lifespan of future generations until we realize that the power to be great does not lie in our physical strength or in the coveting of our common wealth or in seeking selfish power, but in distributing the wealth and building a society that works for all. It is in cooperating with and supporting our political rivals and opponents and candidates with visions and dogged determination to run for offices. In so doing, we jointly work together in view of nation building for the sake of posterity. Greatness will not come when we all aspire to be presidents of our country, despite the glaring challenges. We must refuse to be obstacles to progress so that together we could build a society where our today is better than our yesterdays and our tomorrow far better than our today. Our desire for power must not be a litmus test for strength and the unprofitable quest for fame and unbridled desperation. Both the leaders and the followers have equal roles to play in nation building. This is how heroes are made. You cannot be an hero either as you could be an hero either as an excellent follower or an exceptional leader. The ball is in your court. In the court of the 68 Nigerians who have refused to step down. The ball is in your court. Nigerians used to rise up and to say no to the continued degradation of our country. The ball is in your court. Thank you.